it going, everyone? Today I want to go back to my roots of sorts, some of the videos that initially got a lot of views on this channel. And that were videos sort of like a top 10 used cars you should never buy. If you've been around for a very long time, you might remember those. Today I wanted to talk about 10 of the most reliable cars that you can buy for $10,000 or less. These 10 cars are going to be in no particular order, and I'm putting 2022 in the title here because cars depreciate, values change all the time. Right now we're in a seller's market, I guess you could say, where used car values are very high and inflated compared to what they were a couple years ago pre-COVID. So a lot of these cars in this list, if you're an enthusiast like myself, might not really be your first choice of a car. But if you're someone who just needs a car to get from point A to point B, you care about gas mileage, reliability, things like that, then these cars are right in your wheelhouse. If you all would like to see me do a video of the 10 best enthusiast cars under $10,000, please let me know down below in the comments. Without further ado, one more quick thing. I actually just picked up a tool chest. Finally, I'll put a short clip of it here on the screen. Craftsman, brand new out of the box. I got it on offer for about half of what it was retailing at. So very happy with this so far. I'm gonna have to order some liners for it and things like that so I can put all my tools in here and not scratch it up. But it's a perfect size for me for right now. Super excited to start using it, but yeah, let's get into the video. A lot of the vehicles on this list are probably cars that you're going to be expecting here, but there are a couple surprises, so stay tuned to hear those. But first off, we have the early to mid 2010s Mazda 3. If I were to pick any of the cars on this list, I would probably pick this one. This would be my personal choice. The Mazda 3 is a great compact car that also offers fun to drive handling. Again, that's kind of relative to a lot of the other cars on this list. And it comes in two different body styles. You can get it in both a sedan and a hatchback. It's a good bargain for that reason. You know, you can get great reliability, but you can also get something that's a little bit more fun to drive compared to some of the other cars listed here. And that is a perfect segue into the second car here, which is an early 2010s Toyota Prius, often considered one of the least fun, least enthusiast-based cars out there, but also one of the most reliable, fuel-efficient, and practical cars kind of all bundled into one that you can buy. Now, one issue with buying a Toyota Prius on the used market is the fact that it's a hybrid. Now, these hybrid batteries, as mileage goes up, will need to be replaced at some point. So if you're buying a higher mileage Prius, you might want to look into whether those batteries have already been replaced or if they're going to need to be replaced soon, because that can be a costly repair. But the Prius was really the country's first mainstream hybrid, and it gets almost 50 miles per gallon combined, which compared to what my cars get is extremely impressive. Third is the early to mid 2010s Hyundai Elantra. I do want to note that the Hyundai Elantra, this year range I'm giving is kind of in the middle of two different generations. It did get a refresh in 2014. In 2014, it came with a new interior and exterior, and it included a newly available 2-liter engine. So you can get, similar to the Mazda 3, you can get the Elantra in either a hatchback or a sedan, if that's important to you. Fourth on the list, and this is probably one of my other favorites on here as well, is the late 2000s and early 2010s Hyundai Genesis. This might be the most luxurious car on the list. This was the beginning of Genesis, back when it was just still part of the Hyundai brand and not its own separate brand. But these early Genesises are very luxurious while also still being economy minded. They come with a great interior, excellent safety ratings, and a lot of standard features, and of course, great reliability. So you can get these in either a 290 horsepower V6 or a 368 horsepower V8. So compared to a lot of the other cars on this list, obviously that means it's not going to be as fuel efficient, but it is going to have a lot more power. And I think that the Genesis specifically might be one of the best bang for your buck cars on this list. Number 5, and here we're going to start getting into some of the most obvious ones that you probably expect to see on this video. And that would be, first off, an early 2010s Toyota Corolla. The Corolla, when you think of a compact car, it's one of the first cars that's going to come to your mind. You think Corolla, you think Civic, you think maybe Nissan Sentra if you love CVT transmissions that blow up. But the Corolla has been kind of the poster child of a reliable compact car for decades, and it can be one of the easily best choices on this list. There's not really much to say about it just because it's simply so good. And number 6 on this list, following up right after that, is probably its closest competitor, the early 2010s Honda Civic. So the Honda Civic is another great example of a good compact economy car. You see them on the road everywhere, just like Corollas, for good reasons. They're extremely reliable, they're cheap to maintain, they get good fuel economy. The Civic did get a refresh in 2013, so if you can find that next generation of Civic under 10K, that would be a good place to look, because you're going to get a ton more features compared to the previous generation Civic, such as Bluetooth and all these other standard features that Bluetooth might not seem like anything special now, but even back 8-9 years ago, it was a nice luxury to have, especially in a car like a Civic. Number 7 is the early 2010s Toyota Camry. Again, another poster child of reliable commuter car. The Camry is just the bigger brother of the Corolla. It's a slightly bigger car, a little bit more powerful engine, more room, but just as reliable and a little bit more practical. Probably a little bit less fuel efficient though, but still gets great fuel ratings for its size. Surprisingly, it also has really good safety ratings too. And that leads us to number 8 on this list, which is, again, probably Toyota's closest competitor in this mid-size sedan segment, and that would be the early 2010s Honda Accord. Like the Camry, the Honda Accord is another mid-size sedan, really known for its reliability. The Accord compared to the Toyota, when I was reading some reviews kind of comparing it to it, seems like a lot of people think the Accord is a bit sportier. If I were to pick one of the two, I would pick the Accord probably, but that's just me. But it's also, a great problem-free car. It's going to be reliable for you. It's going to be pretty comfortable and luxurious, only offered in a sedan similar to the Camry. So if you want a hatchback, maybe not a car that you would consider as much. Number 9, and I actually take back what I said about the Mazda 3 because this is the car I would choose on this list. And that would be a late 2000s or early 2010s Mazda Miata, the 3rd generation, the NC Miata. The Miata has always long been recognized as one of the best little 2-seat roadster sports cars. It's all about driving experience and fun. I owned a 1st generation Miata for about 2 years, and it was so much fun to drive, just so engaging. So some of the benefits, it gets good gas mileage, not necessarily good compared to a lot of the other cars on this list, but good gas mileage. It's a convertible, which is cool. It comes with a manual transmission as an option, and most of them are manuals. But some of the downsides, on the other hand, are that being that it is a small 2-seat convertible, it is not necessarily practical. So it is great reliability-wise, and it is going to be incredibly fun and engaging to drive compared to all the other cars on this list. But you're going to have to sacrifice the practicality. So that's just another random car I wanted to throw into this list that provides the reliable factor, but it's kind of a different segment of car. It's not all these other sedans and hatchbacks. But to round that out, let's go right back to some sedans and hatchbacks. And that would be number 10, last but not least, the early 2010s Acura TL. Acura is pretty much Honda's luxury brand, so the TL can be compared to its similar Honda model, but just a more modern, high-tech, and luxurious version of that. So you can find them in a 280 horsepower front-wheel drive or a 305 horsepower all-wheel drive version. So it's going to be more powerful than the Accord, and again, a lot of the other cars on this list. It comes with a lot of standard options as well that some of these other cars might not have, such as Bluetooth. And again, for a car that's 10 years old, having Bluetooth as a standard feature, especially on cheaper side cars, can still be considered a luxury. But there you have it. Those are my 10 most reliable cars under $10,000 for the year 2022. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Did any of these cars surprise you? Have you had good or bad experiences with any of these? Or do you have any other cars you would add? For you sub guys watching, let's be real, it's not reliable enough to make this list. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.